Thank you. Now I would like to bring some new guests in and bring back Jamie for a roundtable discussion. Andrea and Stephanie, would you like to introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, I'm Andrea. Definitely suffering from the housing crisis here in Nashville, living in the economic downturn, and just here to stand in solidarity with what are, using this platform and our voice for, because it's much necessary for the people who are, struggling day in and day out to figure out how to eat and pay your rent and pay your bill. It's a lot, and it's good to have that voice and be in this space to share with other people who don't, realize that we have a voice, and it's good to get this out. But nice to meet everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm with the Bedford County Listening Project. I'm a renter, and I'm just here to uplift everybody's voices from all over Tennessee, especially Shelbyville, because Lord knows we need it.
Excuse me, ladies. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, y'all. Possible questions. Does the use of NCRC mediation service require a formal court filing? I'm sorry, y'all. Excuse me.
I know what you're asking, Salamander. Should I just?
Yes, please.
Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. The question is, do you have to be referred by the court officially in order to be allowed to use mediation? The answer is no.
Okay.
I mean, in general, most of our cases do come that way. People are in court and they get sent to us because the court's trying to help people get out of court. But we are so happy, and all the community mediation centers here in our state are happy to work with people so that they don't ever have to even start a court process.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I see also, if you don't mind, I see another question that was posted. It said, do we have any data on how much of the recent rent relief funds have been used and how much are left? At the moment, I think checks have not even started to be written yet.
Oh, goodness.
The portals just opened a week ago. And so right now, all of these organizations that have the funds are just trying to work with these new online systems and deal with documentation. Again, they're flying the plane. They're building the plane while flying, right? This is all new. And it's going to take a while. I mean, people are just going to have to be patient. No one's going to get a red check next week, would be my guess. I'll be the first one to throw a party if you do, but
Okay.
it'll take a while.
Okay. We already went over the concerns of accessibility. Do you know any ways that could probably potentially improve this accessibility, or any ideas that can better connect people to these devices to get them made?
I know one thing that we're doing is we have been working with a really great set of landlords and property managers who are willing to literally often go door to door in their properties just to educate people, to let people know that these things are available and to help them. I mean, I know of some really big properties in Davidson County where the property management staff will do the paperwork for the residents if the residents want to do this. I think, one of the biggest challenges always, though, is how do we let people know that this is available and where to go for help? But maybe if we all truly, if everyone told 5 people and they told 5 people and they told 5 people. Income qualifications, I see that. If I recall correctly, the income qualification will be either, and I think you have a choice. Each applicant has a choice either to use the 2020 tax form, which would be 2019 income, right? So if you filed taxes for 2020, for 2019, 2020, sorry, it's not 2019. If you filed taxes for 2020, you can use that, or you can use current income like today and back 3 months. It's something, there are two different ways, but it doesn't go back to 2019.
Okay. So, do you have any concerns about whether they will? Is it necessary that landlords need to participate in this process as well, and do you have any concerns about that? We're working with them.
Landlords do. Oh, I'll say just factually, landlords do have to participate. Both the tenant and the landlord have to be willing to participate, or the funds will not be released. Funds are paid directly to landlords. And we have found, I mean, from my experience, our organization is working to get cases out of the courts. Most of the landlords we have worked with have been very eager to participate, but not all.
Okay.
So,
so here in Shelby, y'all sound really lucky with some of the landlords you have there in Davidson County. Here, there was money given to the South Central Resource Agency, and landlords were taking that money and then still taking them to court and not even putting that like off of their balance. And so we're also a little afraid that that's going to happen with the THDA money. Even landlords the other week are still trying to take people to court when they have the CDC moratorium. It's a mess down here in Shelbyville.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons we really like using mediation as part of this, because if we bring the landlord and tenant together to create an agreement, they actually sign a contract that says if the landlord receives this amount of money, then the tenant is considered in good standing. You know, we basically create a contract going forward.
Okay. I guess I'll move on to our next question. What guidance would you give towards tenants moving forward now that the moratorium the CDC moratorium is going to be ending on March 31st?
Jamie, you want to take this one?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the biggest, most important thing is go to your landlord and try to negotiate with your landlord.
Yeah.
I think it is as Sarah touched on, is to the landlord's benefit to have rent in their pocket, to not have to go through the expense and the headache of a new tenant at a time when things are really precarious for everyone. Mm-hmm. So try to negotiate, and even if it's just partial rent, try to be honest and say what you can do. It's better to have the same tenant that you know, keep them in the unit, than to go through the process of a new tenant that you don't know.
Okay.
And then the most obvious one then is go to the resources that we've been talking about. If you can't negotiate with your landlord, there are a lot of resources out there. And if you can't get past that, then contact your local legal aid or legal service organizations. These are always the answers, because there are a lot of parts in the process, in the rental process. You can slow down that process to try to find alternative housing. You have rights at a courtroom, and it can take several weeks. So you can, at the very least, if you can't negotiate with your landlord and secure your housing, there might be a legal argument or just time that you have on your side to make things not quite as terrible as the reality of an eviction.
I see it.
What really needs to happen is the eviction moratorium needs to be extended, or there needs to be a new one, because people don't have time to wait. People are going to be homeless, especially here in Shelbyville, waiting for the THDA money. That's also why Bill Lee needs to release the TANF money.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was muted. I just want to say, y'all, before this virus, there was a lot of people in a lot of Tennesseans living paycheck to paycheck, and it was also going to be, they was just always living on the razor edge. So that's many Tennesseans in the thousands living to like that. I just we need extreme change, y'all. I just feel like we need Governor Lee to go ahead and release those funds and just try to let it flow as much as possible, because there's a lot of people out there hurting. Oh, I see, Jamie, you got a hand raised.
Yeah. So there was a comment that came in that I agree with 100%. That, but I don't know that it provides short-term relief. But we start now. Tenants should be part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. So tenant organizing starting today may not resolve the problem today. The likelihood of these, the money getting released or a moratorium today might be small. Mm-hmm. But getting organized today means we're that much closer to the next to the power to create a solution. Like if in Shelby County, we've got the Memphis Tenants Union, they weren't here a year ago. And I wasn't doing this work a year ago. And maybe if we had been, instead of shooting off emails to everyone when we could see this coming down the pipeline, we would have made our voices, we could amplify our voices. So I just think that it can't be said enough. Organizing is a long haul, but that's the way that we put a crack in the wall to making renters' voices heard and changing the systems, hopefully. So get involved now.
Okay. It's the best way to do that, to get involved. All right. You touched down on the last question and stuff like that. Does anybody else want to share anything or thoughts, opinions about how can we improve this system as a whole?
Well, I'd be curious to hear Andrea's experience here in Davidson County.
Okay.
I think that for the last year with the pandemic, it's been very hard to be a renter in this time. The economic downturn, it's very depressing. You don't know whether you can, you got to pay your rent, or you're trying to figure out how you're going to feed your family. Then you have your landlords that are very persistent with this. I need rent. I want your rent. Need more. When it's just kind of
it can be disheartening.
Very.
Yeah, it's like a system of interlocking systems of impression. It's just all bearing on you, right? That's how I feel.
And definitely, even if you don't have family, or even if you do, it's so many of us that are in the shoes. Even right now, it's March the 22nd. The rent is going to be due again in April, and the landlord, they want it on time. It doesn't matter that we're in a pandemic. It doesn't matter that everyone's struggling to feed their families. It doesn't matter. They want the money to then. I'm living in somewhere that I don't even have a screen door. I've asked for a screen door. For the past year. They have continued to get, funds from rent, late rent, all of these fees. And it feels as though it's the tactics that they go about with just making you feel pressured. Because if you don't pay your rent, you don't have anywhere to live. And that's scary.
Really,
that I could be homeless, that I've worked all of my life, and that I could be homeless right now. With thousands of people in the same boat, and there be so much money dangling that we're not getting it. Just like Sara outlined, the hoops that you have to jump through just now with the portal that they've opened. A lot of people are not available or able to access that. So how does that, how does that benefit?
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like it's the system design is intended. I feel like it's just one big giant eugenics machine, because like the process of actually connecting people to resources and talking to people has just been like one hoop after the other. And honestly, this going through waiting for a system to work is literally ruining people's lives, because like we're really dealing with real lives, but we're too busy stuck trying to figure out the process, Jenny
was right when she said to organize and had organizations, or just to form or organize. It'd be more people and as Sara said, if 5 people tell 5 people and 5 people tell 5 people, just to help family, friends, anyone get the word out that there are funds, but it's not going to just happened on the time that I know that we were behind 6 months. Can you imagine 6 months being behind every day, waking up like, oh my goodness, I know that I'm owing $6,000, to a landlord. And there are people that are even more far behind than that. Like it's hard day by day, just even though there are, like one of the young ladies said, that there is that memorandum that's in place to where you won't be evicted. It doesn't matter. Landlords are like, that doesn't matter. If you really read that, it's only if this, and this. There are so many tactics designed for the renters to feel as though we have no voice. We just have to just sit and suffer if you don't know that the resources are out here or the ways to access the resources that are now available. And even in that, the things that I've applied for, I'm still denied. So it's like I it's kind of, I don't know.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
I understand. It just blows my mind. Yeah. It's literally depriving you of your rights, in my opinion. As far as I say, it seems like we got one more minute left. Then we got to sign off. But yeah, it's just we're all owe housing. Like everyone, housing is a human right, and everybody should have decent place to live and lay their head on the pillow. So it seems like we're out of time, everyone. So I'm gonna reintroduce Dreaded Blaze as our second act, second song.
Either way, it's by the blocks and our streets submerged.